It begins on June 13, 2000, just past 11:47 p.m., inside the dim corridor beneath the Staples Center. The air is thick with sweat, resin, and the faint metallic ring of bouncing basketballs echoing from the empty arena above. A single flickering maintenance light reflects off a crumpled piece of paper on the floor, a stat sheet from the Western Conference Finals, still smudged with chalk. The Lakers have just advanced and celebrations thunder only a few steps away. But one player walks alone, moving deeper into the shadows, long after cameras and applause have faded. In this moment, the league does not yet understand the truth of his obsession. The world sees a rising star. But beneath the surface, something far more severe is taking shape, a mindset that will redefine competition. To understand why this moment matters, we have to go back to the beginning. Born in Philadelphia in 1978, raised across the Atlantic in Italian gyms where the smell of leather and varnished wood was stronger than the language he spoke, Kobe Bryant experienced basketball not as a pastime, but as an inheritance. Historical records from his early coaches recall a boy who stayed long after practice, repeating the same motion until exhaustion forced stillness. The league expected talent. It did not expect a philosophy. Not yet. The NBA of the late 1990s was shifting. It was a time when high school players entering the league were treated with skepticism, assumptions, and quiet doubt. Reports from general managers in 1996 show reservations about whether an 18-year-old could survive the physical and emotional magnitude of the sport. Most rookies braced for intimidation. But Kobe arrived expecting the opposite. He anticipated a battlefield. He anticipated resistance. What he actually found was opportunity, and his response was a ferocity that many mistook for arrogance. The symbolic object that would follow him across decades first appeared during those early years. A worn-out leather basketball, its coarse surface carving faint scratches across his fingers. Teammates from his rookie season documented how he carried it everywhere, on buses, on planes, even through hotel corridors. It was not simply equipment. It became the emblem of obsession, the reminder that mastery was earned through repetition, not applause. That ball returned again and again throughout his journey. A quiet symbol of what American culture often celebrates, the freedom to outwork everyone, the abundance of opportunity waiting for those willing to suffer for it. As the years passed, an emotional contrast began to define his reputation. Opponents expected intensity. Instead, they encountered relentlessness bordering on the inhuman. Defensive legends described his preparation as military. Trainers reported 4 a.m. sessions documented, recorded, witnessed not for theatrics, but because he believed dawn belonged to those who seized it. During the 2001 season, a pivotal record surfaced, a handwritten training log from Bryant himself. It detailed thousands of makes, not attempts, each session broken into precise sequences. This was no longer the behavior of an athlete. It resembled the discipline of a soldier preparing for a conflict only he could see. And yet, behind this severity lay reflection. Observers noted his silence during team flights, staring at that same worn ball, turning it slowly in his hands like a historical artifact. It became the representation of his ideology, not a game, but a mission. The league was unprepared for what this mission would produce. The transformation came during the 2008 Olympic Games. The so-called redeemed team. Historical accounts from players and staff reveal a remarkable pattern. The world expected camaraderie, expected a team of stars to share responsibility. Instead, they awoke each morning to find Bryant drenched in sweat, completing full workouts before sunrise. His presence shifted the culture of the entire roster. Young stars later confessed that seeing him train at those hours dismantled their own excuses. He expected resistance from them. Instead, they followed. His mindset had become contagious. By the early 2010s, injuries struck the Achilles tear, the fractured bones, the accumulating losses. What the NBA expected was decline, resignation, the acceptance of mortality. But Kobe Bryant resisted the expected. Medical records, public statements from surgeons, and documented timelines show recoveries considered medically improbable. Analysts predicted the end. He returned regardless. With each injury, the symbolism of that worn basketball deepened. It remained beside him in training rooms, on benches, in solitary practice courts lit by a single overhead bulb. Even broken, he refused to surrender. Emotionally, This period revealed a truth that stunned the NBA, that his killer mindset was not born from cruelty or ego, but from an almost spiritual belief that effort was a form of gratitude. Gratitude to the game. Gratitude to the freedoms he believed it provided. Gratitude to the country that allowed someone with discipline to rise beyond prediction. The final transformation in public perception occurred after retirement. The league expected withdrawal. Instead, they witnessed rebirth. He shifted from warrior to creator, writing, mentoring, teaching. Yet even in this change, the mindset remained the same: hunger, the same discipline, now redirected toward imagination instead of combat. His Oscar-winning short film, Dear Basketball, based on his own handwritten letter, became historical evidence of an evolution that few athletes achieve: the ability to translate ambition into art. The symbolism reaches its final point in January 2020. The NBA, shaken to its core, looked back at decades of archives, interviews, and testimonies. Only then did the truth surface with unmistakable clarity. The mindset that once intimidated them had guided them. His rivals found motivation in him. His teammates found identity. An entire generation of players built their careers around principles he introduced: preparation, resilience, defiance, mastery. In the epilogue of his legacy that worn basketball now displayed in photographs, documentaries, and museum exhibits, stands as the poetic symbol of what his life represented. Not simply domination, not merely excellence, but the deeper truth that within freedom lies responsibility, within abundance lies obligation, and within opportunity lies the invitation to outwork limitation. And so, the narrative of Kobe Bryant becomes less a sports story and more a human one. Like the great conflicts of history, it reveals that mindsets shape destinies, that discipline reshapes cultures, and that a single obsession, carried like a soldier's weapon or a nation's flag, can ignite transformation far beyond the battlefield where it began. His killer mindset was not an attitude. It was a doctrine. One that challenged the NBA, one that redefined excellence. And one that continues to echo, like the steady bounce of a basketball in an empty gym, a sound that will never fade from the halls of the sport he left behind. Thanks for watching.